Hello, this is Stephen Worth, President of Animation Resources, and we're going to do a book look here. I imagine you're probably pretty interested in this book if you've heard about it. It's Taschen's new book on the Walt Disney films from 1921 to 1968. I haven't even seen this book yet. I just opened it up and pulled the camera out so I could share it with you. They earlier did a book on the Charlie Chaplin archives, which was fantastic, so I didn't hesitate. I pre-ordered this and it just arrived this morning, so I'm sharing it with you here. I'm just going to kind of flip through it. You can take a look as we go. Here we go. You can see it's a very large book. By the way, below this in the description, I'm going to put a link to this on Amazon so you can see yourself. Here's a beautiful Tingren. I'm going to try and get these without too many reflections. We'll see if we can do it. Now, obviously, we aren't going to be able to look at the whole book, but I'm going to see how far we can get looking at the films. Here's the index. I'm getting quite a bit of reflection here. I wonder if there's something I can do to fix that. Let's see. Maybe if I move the camera a little bit. It doesn't help that much, but we'll see. We're stuck with it. In any case, this is the index. It's by films, starting with the laughograms at the very beginning and going all the way through Winnie the Pooh, it looks like, is the last one. Silly Symphony setup. There's the man. I think if I keep it over on this side and I zoom over like this, it might work better. Let's see. Taschen has a reputation for making some of the best art books there are. I've got quite a collection of them myself. Oops, sorry about that. We want to get to the pictures. Oh, great. There's some pictures here I haven't seen before. That's always good. There's a famous one. That's kind of interesting. An Oswald Director's Board and a poster design. band concert without the overlay with all the animals clapping. Here's a nice shot of a story meeting. Notice everybody has a drawing board and is drawing there. They doodle up their gags, and there would be a secretary that would be taking notes. Lots of great artwork in here. There's one that's worth looking at, huh? Pluto's Judgment Day. Isn't that great? Let's see if we can get that out of the shine a bit. There we go. I'm still working the bugs out of this system. I hope this is nice and clear for you. But it's awfully nice to have this podcasting camera where we can just quickly grab it out of a drawer and set it up and be ready to go. Here's a gallery of animation drawings from Skeleton Dance. Kind of too bad that they didn't make the order as clear as they probably could have, since they were varying sizes. It's a nice background from Musicland. There's a particularly nice background there. Let's see if we can get in on that a little closer. Not all the pictures in this book are huge, but there sure are a lot of them. And one of my complaints about Disney books in the past has been that they keep printing the exact same artwork over and over again. Here's something to take a look at. Let's check this out close. What do you think of that? That's something else, isn't it? Well, we haven't even gotten to the features yet. Here we go. Get that delay nice and flat without a shine. No, I can't. There's no way to get that without a shine. You're going to get a shine. I'm sorry. like that. One of the things that Taschen does very well is color balances. This looks very much like the original artwork. It's not goosed into strange directions the way the videos are. This is more like what the films originally looked like. Well, I hate to skip forward, but let's go to Pinocchio now. There's some that they print the same from all the books. Pages are kind of sticking together because it's a brand new book. There's a very nice Tangerine. Let's see if I can get a pan across that. How about this? There's another Tangerine. You've seen that one before. The undersea sequence, this one here was one of the first ones that they started animating on. And they actually completed some scenes before they'd even finalized Pinocchio's model. There's a nice one. Let's look at that. Well, we're barely a pinch into the book, so if you want, I may be able to come back and do more at another time. But I want to keep this to about 25 minutes, and we're at 14 now, so we'll see how far we get. We may not make it to Winnie the Pooh, but that's not entirely a bad thing. Here we go, Fantasia. Early concept piece, and before it was the concert feature, when it was still a silly symphony, and it's got the dot-eye Mickey instead of the redesigned Mickey that ended up being made in that film. Grim Natwick told me that he did some preliminary studies in animation for Sorcerer's Apprentice, but he was doing it with the dot-eye Mickey at the point he was working on it. That's one of the least successful parts. There we go. Now we're into the Nutcracker Suite. Really went all out on the concept art in this film. Back in the early 90s, I guess it was, they did, Pierre Lambert did a couple of very nice books. A few of them. I think there was a Snow White, a Mickey Mouse, and a Pinocchio. I don't have the Snow White, but I've got the Mickey Mouse and Pinocchio. And unfortunately, they printed some of the images with a lacquer over them so they looked like they had a cell. And when you shut the book, the darn thing sticks together and you have to peel it apart every time you look at it. This book is much more practical. Good paper stock, nice printing. Everything you want. Swan of Tronelia. I don't know how to pronounce that. Does anyone know how to? I only read it. I don't know it. I've seen the sequence on the extras where they put the original soundtrack to it. They did a Ride of the Valkyries, but it never got past concept. This is nice because it really shows you the development process. Doesn't seem to have too much in the way of animation, but it is kind of an encyclopedia of concept art here. Problem with concept art is a lot of times it's not visual development, it's visual irrelevant, because by the time it gets to the animation department, everything's changed. The models changed, the layouts changed, the staging's changed, the action's changed. And the concept paintings are beautiful in their own, but they don't always lead somewhere. That's particularly true in modern films where things tend to evolve a lot. Nice Baby Weems storyboard panel there. Since the film was basically an animatic, they went all out on the storyboards and made it fully rendered. Most storyboards don't look like that, though. They don't have much there on Reluctant Dragon. That's a shame. I actually like that film a lot. Dumbo is a great film. That's one of the best. Well, they give you nice big pictures. You don't have to put on your glasses to see them, that's for sure. And then they take nice Bill Pete storyboard panels and make them the size of a postage stamp. I always get angry at book designers because they seem to think that white space and text is why we buy art books, and we don't. We want to see the pictures nice and big. Want them as big as we can see them, big as they can print them, nice as they can print them. There's something to look at. Check out that background there. Let's see if I can get an angle on it that's not quite so. There we go. I'll tell you, if you are a background painter, you're probably going to want to buy this book because there's some tremendous reference for color and rendering technique in here. Check that out. Let's see if we can get that out of the shine. No, I cannot get it out of the shine. I'm going to have to work out some alternate lighting system here when we do these book looks, I can tell. Beautiful watercolor, very fast, very controlled. It's interesting, some things look better in the concept art than they do in the films, and some things look better in the films than they do in the concept art. That is a stock publicity pose there that they repeated forever and a day. Well, we're up to Bambi and it's 23 minutes, so I think Bambi is where we're going to have to quit for now. But if you want to see some more after this, just let me know in the comments. Mark Davis told a great story about Bambi. He said that everyone wanted Walt to approve the storyboards. And he said that, that's a great layout there, look at that. He said that if you felt kind of so-so about your boards and you thought that maybe they could be improved, you'd put one push pin at the top of each one. And if you felt solid about your board, you'd put two push pins at the top so that each panel was exactly square all the way down the board. Well, on Bambi, they were so sure that they wanted Walt's approval that they not only put 4 push pins, one in each corner, but they also matted each layout or each storyboard panel with a little black mat. They spent days just cutting mats to put around their boards. And Walt looked at it and saw how beautiful and neat it was on the boards and approved it right away. So there's a trick. If you've got an executive that you want to get an approval from, just mat it and pin it up with 4 push pins. Tyra Swong's influence on the show. Don't care much for those. Not everything done at the Golden Age studio was good. Some things were just thumbnails and were never meant to be seen. They were more for production and for development purposes, and then to lead to something good than they were good in their own right. One of the things when I was a kid, was that if I liked something, I thought everything about it was good. I enjoy this particular TV show, so therefore it must have good acting, and it must have good direction, and it must have good everything, stories. But that isn't necessarily the case. Sometimes something can be really good in one area and not so much in another area. And once you become a filmmaker, you gain a certain amount of discernment, and you start seeing the good and bad in everything, which is a blessing and a curse. You can't sit in the audience and just drift away into the magic of the movies anymore, because every time you're looking at it, you're analyzing it. But it's also a blessing because you can use that analysis to create your own films and send your own audience into the magic of the movies. Well, in any case, that was about maybe a third of this book that we looked at. And like I say, I'm going to put a link below this to the Amazon. It isn't cheap, I can tell you that, but I'll make you bet this thing sells out. One of the things that happens an awful lot with Taschen oversized books like this is that they have a tendency to be around for about 2 or 3 months or through a Christmas season. But by the time the next Christmas season comes along, they're long gone, and they're selling on Amazon for 3 times the price. I know I got the Magic book and the Circus book, and all of them, actually. I got all of the giant books almost. But a lot of them now are selling for $600-700 a piece. This is the most expensive one that they put out to date. This one was $200, which I'm sure a lot of that is going into licensing fees. That you don't have to pay Leonardo da Vinci. You don't have to pay Leonardo or Michelangelo a licensing fee, but you do for Mickey Mouse. So in any case, it's not a cheap book, but it's a good thing to put on your Christmas list if you have someone who loves you very, 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 very much. $200 worth. I don't have anyone who loves me that much, so I had to go out and buy it for myself. So I want to finish up here by saying, as I do at the end of all of our podcasts, this podcast was brought to you through the generosity of the membership of Animation Resources. Our podcasting equipment was all paid for by our membership dues. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and all of the money that we take in goes right back to serving you. It goes right back into putting on podcasts like this. It goes into the website you see, the Facebook page you see, the volunteers that are scanning for our archive. If you haven't seen the archive podcast yet, definitely check that out because it'll blow your mind. We have a digital archive going that is the Library of Thebes of cartooning. And if you haven't seen that podcast, you better watch it because it's amazing stuff. And if you are in animation, if you are a creative person working in animation, illustration, cartooning, any of the allied fields, you should be a member of Animation Resources. What we're working towards is to bring the medium up, to raise the bar by giving great reference and education to the incoming generation of animators, so that we end up with not just a return to the golden age, but something better than that. And I want all of you to be a part of it. The dues are $60 for a year for students and educators. It's $80 a year, $85 a year. $85, that $5 must make a difference, but $85 a year for general membership. And what you get for that is an ebook with hundreds of pages of incredible artwork, all curated and presented by the board of directors and the advisory board of Animation Resources, and a few downloadable cartoons every other month. So that's 6 books a year and about 18 downloadable cartoons a month in DVD quality. For the price that you're paying, that's really a bargain. And not only that, the money that you're donating in your dues is going to a good cause, and we're using it to take our message that much further. If you enjoyed this podcast, I hope you'll consider becoming a member of Animation Resources, and the link will be in the description right below this podcast, so check it out. Thank you very much. I will see you next time we do another podcast, which should be soon.